David Shaw here with another off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., come visit my site, offtherecordtours.com. Let's go. There is nothing like the solemn pageantry of a military funeral at Arlington National Cemetery. The precision, symbolism, and respect is the proper end for remembering with gratitude a life given to military service. I'm in section 27 of Arlington National Cemetery, where the story of this famed place starts. It's the resting place of William Chrisman, the first person officially buried in the cemetery. When Chrisman is interred here, there's no band, there's no flags, there's no family, not even a clergy person to offer a final prayer. You see, back then, Arlington National Cemetery was simply a potter's field, a place for indigent soldiers to be buried. And it took time to transform Arlington Cemetery from this potter's field for indigent soldiers to the national shrine that we know it as today. Here's how it happened. After the Civil War, the first thing that brings Arlington to the nation's attention was General Ulysses Grant's attendance at the cemetery's first Decoration Day events. The nation looks again to Arlington on a snowy day in 1899 when President McKinley and the rest of official Washington attend the burial of sailors and Marines of the USS Maine. Of the 150 men buried that day, only 74 could be identified. Arlington really establishes itself in the nation's mind in 1921, when President Harding presides over the burial of an unidentified soldier from World War I. The tomb now places Arlington on the map as a tourist destination, as visitors to Washington now come to pay their respects. The prestige of Arlington rises in 1930 when former President and Supreme Court Chief Justice William Howard Taft is the first president buried at Arlington. Another high-profile interment was General of the Army's John Pershing. Pershing led the U.S. Armed Forces during World War I and was the nation's highest-ranking military officer when he died in 1948. While he could have had an elaborate monument, he insisted on the same headstone of his men that surround him at Arlington. In 1958, President Eisenhower serves as the next of kin at the burial of the unknown soldiers from World War II and the Korean War, who joined their World War I comrade in the tomb. Arlington Cemetery grows slowly until...
From Dallas, Texas, the flash, apparently official, President Kennedy died at 1 p.m. Central Standard Time, 2 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, some 38 minutes ago.
For 4 days, the country stops. This is the first time in history that television covers a breaking news event live as it unfolds. All Americans watch together as the three networks provide 4 days of live coverage of the ceremonies in Washington. And at the end of the 4 days, all eyes are on Arlington, where the caisson ends its journey. The raspy voice of Cardinal Thomas Cushing pronounces the committal. The flag is folded, and the president's widow lights the eternal flame.
Eternal rest grant unto him, O Lord, and let perpetual light shine upon him.
John Kennedy's burial changes Arlington forever. Before his death, the cemetery buried 4,000 people a year. Afterwards, that number soars to 7,000. It becomes a major tourist attraction with millions of visitors annually. And 100 years after its humble beginning, Arlington is transformed into a national shrine. But the cemetery's continued popularity as a burial place for veterans means that space will run out in 30 years. And in a future episode, we'll explore what the cemetery plans to do to change to ensure that it remains an essential part of our American story. Well, I hope you enjoyed that off-the-record story. If you want to learn more about Washington, D.C., things seen and unseen, arrange your tour of your nation's capital at offtherecordtours.com. Until then, I'm David Shaw.